In today's video, we're going to dive deep into Donald Trump's astonishing surge over the past month. It's been a dramatic and unexpected shift in the political landscape, one that has completely changed the outlook for the upcoming election. We rewind to just a month ago on September 14, 2024. Trump was on track to lose this election. His polling numbers were weak, and he appeared to be in a vulnerable position heading into the final stretch. But today, everything has changed. Trump is now in the driver's seat, having taken a significant lead, and is the clear favorite to win as we approach November. His momentum has been nothing short of remarkable, and it's something we need to map out carefully to understand just how we got to this point. To really get a grasp of Trump's momentum, we're going to look at two electoral maps, one from September 14th and another from today. Both maps have the solid and likely states filled in, meaning the states that are almost certainly going to go to one candidate or the other and aren't expected to make much of a difference in the final outcome. These states where we won't spend too much time as they're unlikely to swing either way. Instead, we'll be focusing on the key battleground states, the ones that are really going to decide this election. These swing states are where Trump's surge is most noticeable, and they tell the story of his recent rise. Let's start out west with Nevada, a state that has been trending blue in recent elections, but is now showing signs of slipping away from the Democrats. Right now, Trump has a narrow 0.2 lead in Nevada. That might sound like much, but it's a huge deal considering that just 4 years ago in the 2020 election, Joe Biden was leading in Nevada by a comfortable 5.2 in the polls. Biden ended up winning the state by 2.4, but it was a much tighter race than the polling initially indicated. Fast forward today, and Trump has not only closed the gap, but has overtaken Harris. This marks a significant shift. A month ago, Harris held a 1.2 lead in Nevada, which at the time was enough to consider the state a tilt blue, leaning Democratic. But now with Trump in the lead, Nevada is on the verge of flipping red for the first time since 2004. This shift in Nevada is a big deal as it signals broader trouble for the Democrats in states that were once considered reliably blue. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Moving over to Arizona, we see a similar story unfolding. Arizona was a key battleground in 2020 where Biden won by the slimmest of margins, just 0.31. But now the tide has turned. Trump is leading in Arizona by 1, and in some polls, he's doing even better. The most recent New York Times poll, which tends to lean left, has Trump ahead by an eye-popping 5 points. That's a huge lead in a state that has become a political battleground over the last few cycles. Back in 2016, Trump led by just 0.7 in the polls and ended up winning Arizona by nearly 4. So the fact that Trump is leading by a full percentage point today is a major development. Even a month ago, Trump had a narrow 1.3 lead, and he's maintained a consistent advantage in the state throughout the entire election cycle. Harris briefly pulled ahead in Arizona after the Democratic National Convention, but it was a short-lived bounce. Trump has since regained the upper hand, and all signs point to him winning Arizona back, a state he took in 2016, but narrowly lost to Biden in 2020. In New Mexico, we don't have quite the same level of drama. Kamala Harris still leads in the polls, but even here, we're seeing her margin shrink. A month ago, Harris had a 10-point lead in New Mexico, but today that lead has dwindled to just, while Harris is still the favorite to win New Mexico, the fact that her margin is shrinking is significant. Hispanic voters, who make up a large portion of the electorate in New Mexico, have been shifting away from the Democratic Party in recent elections, and that trend appears to be continuing. I expect New Mexico to ultimately be decided by a margin of less than 7, but based on the current polling, it remains a likely blue state. Still, the downward trend for Harris is noteworthy as it reflects a broader weakening of Democratic support in key areas. We're heading down to Texas. We see Trump solidifying his position. Texas is, of course, a state that Trump has won comfortably in the past, but his margin of victory has been shrinking. Today, Trump leads in Texas by 5.7, up from 4.7 a month ago. Texas has been trending closer in recent years, but Trump is starting to pull away again. In 2016, he won Texas by 9 points, and in 2020, by 5 points. While today's lead of 5.7 is not overwhelming, I expect Trump to expand that lead as we get closer to election day. By the time the dust settles, I believe Trump will win Texas by a double-digit margin, possibly as much as 10 or more. On both maps, Texas is going to be lean red, falling in that 2-7 point range. But the trend here is clearly in Trump's favor, which is always a good sign for him. Now, let's move up to the Midwest, where things are looking really bleak for Harris. Just a month ago, she was on track to sweep the entire Upper Rust Belt, a crucial region for Democrats. Had she been able to win in states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, she would have had a clear path to victory. But today, the situation is entirely different. Trump is making huge gains in this region, and if Harris can't secure all 4 of these Midwestern states, her chances of winning 270 electoral votes become very slim. Let's start with Minnesota, the home state of Governor Tim Walz, who is Harris's running mate. Today, Harris is leading by 4.7 in Minnesota, down from 6.5 just a month ago. The most recent Rasmussen poll even has her up by just 3 points, which is a major warning sign. Even Biden won Minnesota by 7 points in 2020, and he didn't have the state's governor on the ticket with him. For Harris is leading by less than half of Biden's margin from 4 years ago, which shows just how much support has dropped off for the Democrats. On our September map, Minnesota was lean blue, and today it remains lean blue, but the trend is not favorable for Harris. Wisconsin is where things get even worse for Harris. She holds an extremely narrow 0.3 lead in the state, but that lead is about to evaporate. A month ago, she was ahead by 1.2, and before long, Trump is going to overtake her. Wisconsin has been a critical state in recent elections, and if Harris loses Wisconsin, her path to victory narrows considerably. For now, on our map, Wisconsin remains tilt blue, but Trump's gains here are undeniable, and it's only a matter of time before he takes the lead. In Michigan, we're witnessing one of the most dramatic shifts in this entire election cycle. Michigan was one of the bluest swing states in 2020, with Biden winning it by nearly 3 points, but today, Trump is leading by nearly 1, marking a significant reversal of fortune for Harris a month ago. Harris was ahead by 0.7, but over the past month, Trump has surged past her on our September map. Michigan was tilt blue, but today it's shifted to tilt red. This is a major blow to Harris's campaign, as Michigan has been a key state for Democrats in recent elections. This in Michigan would be devastating for Harris's chances. Before we continue, let me take a moment to tell you about Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. If you're interested in tracking election results in real time and seeing how current events impact the odds, Polymarket is the place to be. Unlike polls, which can take days to react to events, Polymarket odds update instantly based on the collective analysis and wisdom of thousands of traders. You can check them out at polymarket.com and download their new mobile app for real-time updates on the 2024 election forecast. Now, back to the Midwest, where Ohio is another state that's been trending in Trump's direction. Ohio has voted for Trump by an 8-point margin in both 2016 and 2020, and today he leads by 7.4. A month ago, Trump's lead was even larger at 9 points, but the slight dip in his margin is likely due to new polling data from left-leaning sources like the Washington Post, Marist College, and the New York Times. And with this slight drop, Trump is still in a very strong position in Ohio. Back in 2016, Clinton led in the polls by nearly 2 points, and in 2020, Biden led by 0.6, but both times Trump won Ohio by nearly double digits. He's on track to do the same this year, so while Ohio remains likely red on both maps, Trump's dominance in the state is clear. Finally, we come to Pennsylvania, a state that's been a true battleground in recent elections. Trump has managed to flip Pennsylvania over the past month, and today he leads by 0.1. This might seem like a tiny margin, but it's hugely significant given the state's importance in the Electoral College. A month ago, Harris was leading by 0.1. So we've seen a full reversal in Pennsylvania. It's now tilt red on our map, and this is a major concern for the Harris campaign. Pennsylvania is one of the most crucial states in this election, and Trump's gains here signal that he's on track to reclaim the state, which he won in 2016, but lost to Biden in 2020. As we take step back and look at the national picture, the shift over the past month has been stunning. On September 14, Harris had the upper hand with 276 electoral votes and was on track to win the election. But as of today, Trump has surged ahead and is now leading with 302 electoral votes. This means that Trump has gone from trailing behind to becoming the clear favorite. It's a dramatic turnaround. And if these trends continue, we could see even more states shift into Trump's column as we get closer to Election Day. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest election news. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter for real-time updates and political commentary. The link is in the description below, and I'll be keeping you all posted on what's happening as we count down to Election Day. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you next time.